Hello and welcome to another family worship. I want to start off by saying thank you to those families who sent in some great pictures of their family worship last week with the boat races. Here's a quick little snapshot of some of the fun that was being had. And again, please feel free to send me pictures or videos of your family worship time. I'd love to see what you are doing. This week, we are talking about restoration. And I have a cool little video that I want you to check out about somebody restoring something that was pretty old and gunky into something that looked pretty new and shiny. So check it out. Recognize this truck. It's not just any truck. This is a Tonka truck. But even more than that, this truck is special to me because it was the truck that I played with when I was a kid. That's right, I was out in the dirt and in the sand and in the mud day after day, digging holes and filling up this truck with dirt. Well, you can imagine that over the years, this truck, well, it didn't always look this good. In fact, it became pretty rusty and, well, not safe to use. Well, years went by, and one day, my dad gave this truck back to me as a gift. But what was so special is that he had taken the time to restore it. That's right, he sanded this thing down, he painted it and repainted it and sanded it, and now this truck is as good as new. And not only do I get to have fun with it, but so do my boys. Today, we are going to be talking about restoration, and we're going to learn that Jesus restores. What does that mean? Well, we'll find out. But first, we are going to play a little game and read our passage of Scripture. Today we are in John chapter 9, and we are reading a great story about one of Jesus' miracles. We're going to play a game as a family after we read the passage. For this game, you are going to need a blindfold. And along with the blindfold, you're going to need some blocks. Now, it really can be any type of block or anything that you could stack. It could even be cups. And here's the challenge. Everyone is first going to be blindfolded, one at a time, and they have to create a tower with the stacking blocks or cups. You determine how big that tower needs to be. The first time, everyone's blindfolded trying to do it. The second time, take off that blindfold and see if you can build the tower. Is it easier? Faster? I don't know. You tell me. So, go ahead, read the passage, and play the game. Welcome back, and I hope you had fun. Now it's time to get down to some scripture memory. And we are still working on John 11, 25 through 26. If you recall, it goes like this. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this? We're going to have a little fun with this, and we are going to dramatize the verse. So this is what you need to do. First, each person is going to write out the verse on a piece of paper. This is going to be your script. Then each person is going to think of a character and write it on a smaller piece of paper. It can be a character from a movie, or it could just be a general character like an astronaut or a pirate. You come up with something creative. Once everyone has done that, put all the characters in a bowl or in a hat, and each person draws one of those characters. Now for the fun part. Go around the room and read the verse in that character voice. You want an example, don't you? Okay, well, let's say, for example, I came up with a pirate. This is how I might do it. Arr! Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. Arr! And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this? Arr! Okay, a little crazy? Maybe, but I think you can have fun with it, and it's a great way to learn the verse. So go ahead and learn the verse. I hope you had fun learning those verses in a fun way. And now we're going to get into... Oh, wait, what was that? I have something on my face? Did I get it? Oh, now I see it. Yeah, let me just get that mud off there. I don't know how that got there. Well, that does remind me of today's story of when Jesus restored a blind man's vision with mud. Crazy, right? Well, you read through the story and you heard all about it. That there was a blind man and the disciples said, why is he blind? What sin did he do? And Jesus pointed out that he didn't do anything wrong. Jesus pointed out that the man was blind not because he did anything wrong, but because God was going to show his greatness through him. You see, a lot of times in life, we might go through our own times of hurt and pain, similar to like the blind man. And God says that he is going to take that hurt and that pain, and he is going to use it to show how great he is through our lives. Later, as we read on, we understand how he did that. The second thing we see in the story is that Jesus actually restores the blind man's vision. What does it mean to restore something? Well, it means to repair back to the original condition. You remember my little Tonka truck that I showed you? Well, my dad restored that broken old rusty dirty Tonka truck back to almost like a new truck that my boys and I can play with today. Jesus restored the man's eyes so that he could see. He restored his eyes so that his body could be like what it was supposed to be and will be like when we're in heaven. But the story doesn't stop there. Towards the end, Jesus doesn't just restore his vision, but he restores his heart. Jesus says, do you believe in the Messiah? The man says, who is that? Jesus says, it's the one you're talking to. It's me. At that point, the man said he believed. And Jesus restored his broken heart because of his faith in him. Jesus does that for anyone who asks. He can take our hearts that are broken with sin, and he can heal them and make them whole so that we can have new life and live with God forever in heaven. Not only that, but Jesus can restore our brokenness, sadness, and hurts in our lives today. There might be circumstances that we go through that are really hard and really difficult, and we might not see any good outcome. But Jesus can take those things and he can make them good, and he can show the power of God through our lives. You see, everyone who knew the blind man got to see the power of Jesus when he healed him. If the man always had vision, Jesus wouldn't have been able to show his power through his life. So remember, you might have hard times and brokenness in your life, but Jesus can restore you. Now, we are going to take some time to talk as a family a little bit more in depth and find out what it means that Jesus restores. find it interesting that Jesus took mud, something that usually, if it gets in our eyes, causes us to not be able to see, and he brought vision and clarity and healing back to the man. And I think that also reminds us that Jesus takes the brokenness and the unclear times in our lives and restores them and can bring hope and peace and joy into our lives. I want you to remember this Tonka truck. My dad picked up this old rusty truck and he had a plan for it, and he restored it, and now this Tonka truck is used for lots of fun. Well, you know what? Jesus, he looks into our lives and he can see the pain and the brokenness and the sadness, but he has a plan. He has a plan to restore our lives and to show how great he is through that. So this week, remember, Jesus restores. He'll restore your heart, and maybe there's somebody around you who needs that restoration as well. Will you pray for them, and will you help them? And will you remember that Jesus is always working in your life?